Welcome back to another week of All Access with the Profs. I'm your host, Jordan Weisinger, and we have an action-packed show for everyone watching at home. From Rowan field hockey to soccer to football, we have you covered. The Profs were able to win 2 straight games against Widener and Ramapo. The game against Ramapo being an NJAC win. Although on the season the girls have been underperforming to last year's standards, they find themselves in a position to essentially restart. They are 1-0 in conference play, and the only goal from this point on is to be one of the top 4 teams to get into the NJAC playoffs. Rowan had 2 crucial games this past week that could decide their NJAC playoff fate, one of them being a 2023 NJAC championship rematch between Rowan and TCNJ, and the other being against Kane. For more, here is our very own Steven Wilczynski on how the game against Kane went.
Rowan field hockey team travels to NJAC opponent Kane University Saturday to secure their 4th consecutive win. The Profs win big with a score of 5-0. This win improves their overall record to 8-7 and their conference record to 3-0, securing them the top spot in the NJAC. The first goal for the Profs was scored by senior Ali Palumbo with 11 minutes to go in the second quarter. Freshman Jenna Gray added 2 goals less than 4 minutes apart to start off the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, junior Kaylee Wenzel scores the Profs' 4th goal, with junior Sydney Pavlishin scoring the Profs' 5th and final goal of the contest. The Profs dominated the offense with 25 shots, 19 of which being on goal. Goalie Mariah Giuliano had 5 saves on the day and secured the shutout. The Profs' defense looked tough, delivering crucial stops in front of the cage. The Profs' 4-game win streak comes after a 4-game losing streak to ranked opponents. It's good to see the Profs back above 500.
Rowan women's soccer has been on a scorcher lately. Since NJAC play started on September 28th, the girls have won 4 straight games. However, the winning doesn't even start there. Before heading into their matchups this past week against Stockton and Montclair State, the girls were 9-0-2 on the season. Can the girls make it 5 or even 6 straight wins in NJAC play? Let's find out. Gerasimos Geravasilou is here reporting in the studio.
The Rowan women's soccer team continued their dominance in NJAC play, recently defeating the Stockton Ospreys 2-0 and taking care of the Montclair State Redhawks 3-1. The Profs continued their spectacular season as they remain undefeated on the year with a record of 11-0-2 and are currently on a 6-game winning streak. Rowan sits second within the NJAC standings with aspirations for more glory. Wednesday was not only another shutout victory for the Profs, it was also an event where 9 seniors were honored. Olivia Falicki, Jillian Jankowski, Megan Kreiger, Manon Beta, Simone Passetti, Anya Delagrati, Frankie Ryan, Callista Burke, and Mackenzie Clement. As for the game, Olivia Giordano made sure to represent the juniors early on as she found the back of the net for the 7th time in 4 games. Mackenzie Clement scored the game-sealing goal to cap off a memorable night, securing the 2-0 victory over Stockton. Saturday, the Profs faced a tough task in playing the NJAC's 3rd-ranked team, the Montclair State Redhawks. Mackenzie Clement scored her 12th goal of the season. The Redhawks responded rather quickly as they leveled the match within seconds. Then, Liana Sanfelice scored off a set piece to put Rowan ahead. Bella Clark scored her 1st goal of the season to put the score at 3-1. Some strong defense from keeper Callista Burke helped hold the result. The girls are now 6-0 in conference play with just 3 more NJAC games to go. I'm Gerasimos Geravasilou with All Access with the Profs. Back to you, Jordan.
Rowan football had its toughest game last Saturday against Christopher Newport University. Rowan entered the game 1-0 in conference play, and because of that, this game was massive. Luckily, they were able to get a huge win over TCNJ last week, 36-22. Rowan was down in Newport News, Virginia for their longest road trip of the season. For more on the game and the result, here is Logan Stewart.
The Rowan football team fell to Christopher Newport University on Saturday in Virginia 24-7. The loss came during CNU's homecoming weekend in front of 3,400 fans. CNU jumped off to a great start in the first half, outscoring Rowan 17-0, capitalizing on a mishandled punt and a fumble from the Profs. Rowan had a strong 60-yard drive going in the fourth, down 17-7, but couldn't convert on 4th and 2. CNU's Gunnar White then sealed the game with a touchdown after the turnover on downs. Both teams struggled to find any offensive rhythm in the game as the Profs exceeded the captains in yards 259 to 230. Rowan quarterback Nate Mayers threw for 166 yards, while Nunez Bukala added 40 yards on the ground. It was a rough trip for the Profs as they are now 3-3 on the year and 1-1 in conference play. The Profs have a tough test next week as they have to travel down to Maryland to face Salisbury University, who are ranked number 9 in the nation. From Richard Wacker Stadium, I'm Logan Stewart with All Access with the Profs. Now back to you guys in the studio.
The Profs suffered a really disappointing loss to the reigning NJAC champions. They now move to 1-1 in conference play and face an even more challenging opponent next week in Salisbury. Now let's get into some calendar talk with Jake Clark and Skylar Sweeney.
Hello everybody, I'm Jake Clark, joined again by Skylar Sweeney to take a look at the calendar for Rowan Athletics.
On Wednesday for women's soccer, as Gerasimo's just covered, Rowan wins 2-0 over Stockton on senior night. Olivia Giordano and Mackenzie Clement scored for the Profs. Callista Burke recorded her 6th shutout of the season. 9 seniors were honored in a pregame ceremony.
And also on Wednesday, field hockey took on TCNJ where the Profs won a 2-1 thriller. They trailed 1-0 going into the fourth quarter, but Kylie Elwell and Alexa Ronning were able to find the back of the cage for the Profs and make them 2-0 in NJAC play.
And for men's soccer against Stockton, they defeated Stockton 2-0, improving to 3-0-2 in NJAC play. Johnny Triano scored both goals, his 4th multi-goal game of the season. Triano scored his first goal just 2:29 in and his second at 22:45. They were assisted by Chris Spicer and Jake Homowitz. Dylan Apratella recorded 3 saves for his second shutout.
Now flipping the calendar to Thursday, women's volleyball was on the road at Montclair State where they lost in straight sets 3-0. It was a tough loss for the Profs. Jenna Call led the team with 14 kills and Brooke Adams, a real senior spotlight player, with 30 assists in the loss for the Profs. We now move on to Saturday, starting off with men's and women's cross country at the border battle. First starting off with the men, the Profs added up 80 points in the open run and senior Joshua Kaysen placed 9th overall in the men's championship 8K. The women's team had more team success as they placed 2nd in the championship race and 3rd in the open race. Rowan had 4 top 25 finishers with Gabriela Pagano, Mia Guerrera, Anna Sase, and Ali Wernick.
For women's field hockey against Kane, as Steven covered, freshman Jenna Gray scored 2 goals, leading Rowan to a 5-0 win over Kane. Goalie Mariah Giuliano recorded her 3rd shutout and 4 saves.
Women's volleyball was again on the road for a tri-match against Catholic and Hood. Rowan lost the first match against Catholic 3-2. It was a heartbreaker. They traded sets back and forth, Rowan winning the first and third set, Catholic winning the second and fourth, and ultimately winning the 5th. Brooke Adams, again, 46 assists. Jenna Call had 19 kills in the loss, but Rowan was able to bounce back, sweeping Hood 3-0. Adams again with another stellar match, 33 assists, and Vanessa Hutchinson with 9 digs.
For women's soccer, again, as Gerasimo's covered, Liana San Felice scored the game-winning goal in Rowan's 3-1 win over Montclair State. Rowan remains unbeaten at 11-0-2 overall and 6-0 in NJAC. The Profs have gone 44 straight regular season games unbeaten, 36-0-8 since 2021. Mackenzie Clement scored her team-high 12th goal of the season at 19:01, assisted by Jillian Jankowski.
And football traveled to Christopher Newport as Logan covered. They dropped a tough one, 24-7, and as Rowan lost. They trailed 17-0 going into the half, but got things off on the right start with a 1-yard rushing touchdown from Matt Wesley, but they were shut out in the 4th and allowed another touchdown, so a tough loss there for the Profs.
And for men's soccer, Johnny Triano's goal at 62-02 gave Rowan a 1-0 win over Montclair State. The Profs stay unbeaten in NJAC play, 4-0-2, handing MSU 11-3-1 their first conference loss. Triano's 12th goal, his 3rd game winner, came off a deflection. Rowan's goalkeeper Dylan Apratella had 4 saves, fending off 9 MSU corners.
So now we flip the calendar to next week. So tonight, women's volleyball travels to Rutgers Newark. Wednesday, field hockey is going to host William Patterson, while men's soccer travels to Kane, and the women's soccer team hosts Kane. Thursday, women's volleyball is on the road again, but this time they're at Rutgers Camden. Friday, field hockey hosts Salisbury, and Saturday is loaded with prof sports. First starting off with men's and women's swim hosting NYU. Football is traveling to Salisbury. Both men's and women's soccer face off with Ramapo, with the men at home and the women on the road. So, Skylar, out of all the matchups coming up next week, what is your highlight game of the
I'd
week?
probably have to give my highlight game of the week to men's soccer against Kane on Wednesday. Johnny Troiano has been on a hot streak, leading the team with 12 goals, 4 assists, and 3 game winners. He leads Rowan in scoring, has been essential in conference play. Dylan Aportella has been rock solid in goal with a 1.09 goals against average, 54 saves, and 4 shutouts. Rowan's defense has only allowed 17 goals in 16 games, while the offense has scored 28, averaging 1.75 goals per game. The Profs remain unbeaten in conference play at 4-0-2. There's a big showdown coming up against Kane tomorrow.
And while it's important for the men to stay unbeaten in conference play against Kane, I'm going to have to take the women on the road at Kane with their overall unbeaten record. They're still undefeated. It's still crazy to say that. They're such a talented squad, but Kane is a quality conference opponent, 7-6-2 on the year, 2-2-2 in the NJAC. And so the women will definitely not want to overlook that squad, especially on the road. Mackenzie Clement and Olivia Giordano are definitely the players to watch for the Profs. 28 total points for Clement. She leads the team. Giordano trails by just 1 with 27. And they're the only 2 players to have over 20-plus points for Rowan. So that's all we have for the calendar segment. I'm Jake Clark again with Skylar Sweeney. And now we're going to send things over to Carrie Letizia for our interaction segment.
Thanks so much, Jake, Skylar. I'm Carrie Letizia. Alongside me is Owen Case, the president of the street hockey team. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, it's a pleasure.
Of course. So first and foremost, can you explain what the street hockey team is, when you guys meet, all that stuff?
So basically the street hockey club, it's not ice hockey. It's basically the opposite, just running. We meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9:45 p.m. to like 11:30 p.m. after classes, so anyone can make it. You can join kind of through our prof link or through our social media. Wherever you feel is best for you, we'll reach out to you, get you added to our group me, and we just go from there.
Awesome. And so then people can get involved just by looking on prof link, emailing you.
Oh, for sure.
And you guys have social medias?
Yeah, we have Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, people can get involved, little to no experience, or you could have all the experience in the world. We accept everyone for our practices, but yeah.
So yeah, that was going to be my next question. So are there tryouts, auditions? Things like
There's not exactly tryouts. You basically have to at least show up to one of the 2 practices a week to be considered for the roster for the games that we play on Sunday mornings. So if you show up to at least 1 practice, you can be considered, but then we go based off of talent, skill level, and so much.
Awesome. And who runs your practices? Is it you or?
It's kind of mutually run between me and 2 of the alternate captains. We don't always do drills. It's a lot of times we'll do 5-on-5 scrimmages or 3-on-3s to kind of get more of the game pace atmosphere. But yeah, that's kind of who runs it.
Okay, awesome. So first, I'm assuming I'm holding this wrong. So if
You
wanna
would be.
show me how I actually am supposed to hold this.
For sure. So you're righty, you are in luck. This is a righty stick.
Okay.
So the way you hold it is you'll take your non-dominant hand, which is your left hand. You put it up near the butt end of the stick, which is right up here.
Okay.
Hold it. You want to make your arm kind of like a T-Rex where you bend your elbow in.
Okay.
You take your dominant hand then towards the middle or higher end of the stick. Kind of athletic pose, you bend your knees a bit. That's kind of like how you hold the stick. That's the kind of pose you do. You want to try it?
Yep. Okay. So like this.
Yep.
And then T-Rex arm.
Yep.
And then kind of like
Perfect. There you go. You're a natural.
Oh yeah.
You're 1 step ahead of me. You're already stick handling. Let me show
Oh,
you how
yeah.
that's done. So stick handling, kind of like lacrosse where it's cradling.
Okay.
It's to hold possession and to kind of have an ability to move at any point.
Okay.
So here's a ball, and kind of you're going back side to side. If you need to cut right, you go right. You go left, you go left. Bring it back, just hold it for a bit. If you need to start running, you bring it forward. Stuff like that. You want to try it?
Let me see. So I'm holding it right.
Yep. There you go.
You're a lot faster than I am, but how long have you been playing street hockey?
I've been playing for about 11 years now. I started when I was in 5th grade, and I've just been playing ever since.
Wow, it's very, very impressive. Well, one more time, can you explain to the viewers like how you can get involved, who they reach out to, what they can do for that?
For sure. So we have 2 social medias, one on Instagram, one on Facebook. You can reach out to us through a DM, or you can go on the Prof link, which is where the Rowan Sports Clubs kind of host all the information and contact info. From there, you can either contact me directly or apply to join the club through there, and you can get you set up.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for joining us on All Access with the Profs. Again, I'm Carrie Letizia. This is Owen Case, president of the Street Hockey Club. This was your interaction segment. Back to you, Jordan.
Thank you, Carrie, and thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of All Access with the Profs. Please tune in next week where we will once again bring you all the news in Rowan sports, and just like Juan Soto, we'll be all over it. I'm Jordan Weisinger, and for myself and the rest of the crew, we'll see you when we see you.